Perhaps no one has told you this yet, but the time to know the truth has come. Even after turning 60, self-satisfaction is not a taboo. It does not cause embarrassment, nor is it something to be ashamed of. It is part of health, part of dignity, and part of self-love. Many women of your generation grew up believing that sexual desire is only for the young, and that talking about it after menopause is inappropriate. However, the reality I face daily as a gynecologist is completely different. Your body is changing, and that is the truth. Hormone levels decrease, mucous membranes dry out, and tissues become sensitive. Many women experience pain during intercourse or feel that their sex life is dormant. And here, self-pleasure becomes one of the healing processes. It promotes circulation, maintains tissue elasticity, and signals to the brain that desire is still alive. And most importantly, there is no need to explain anything to anyone. That moment belongs solely to you. You are freed from expectations, pressure, and comparisons. It is a time to listen to your body, discover which touches bring joy, and feel that the power of life is not lost with age. We now know that regular sexual activity, including itself, can reduce stress, improve sleep, strengthen pelvic floor muscles, and even contribute to bladder health. This is a resource that women over 60 should urgently utilize, and not a secret to hide. There is a truth that almost no one speaks out loud. Your wishes have not disappeared. They have just become quiet, and you have the power to awaken them again. Many of my patients say that after a decade filled with obligations such as raising children, working, and caring for relatives, they have forgotten how to focus on themselves. Sexual desire is often something given, and not something consciously taken in by oneself. And when they start thinking about this theme again in their 60s, they sometimes feel guilty or think it's too late. But imagine a flower that has been kept in the shade for a long time. With water and light, it will bloom again. The same can be said for your body. Self-satisfaction, after the age of 60, has nothing to do with egocentricity. It is related to caring for oneself. Recognizing one's needs not only trains the sexual organs, but also the brain. The nervous system responds to these stimuli, releasing hormones such as endorphins, dopamine, and oxytocin, which are associated with happiness and attachment. In other words, fear decreases, loneliness diminishes, peace increases, and immunity improves. As a doctor, what particularly resonates with me is that many women are discovering a new sense of freedom. For the first time in their lives, they can feel joy without pressure, fear of unwanted pregnancy, or societal expectations. They are simply able to face themselves. Of course, there are things to be careful about. Always use a lubricant suitable for your skin. Vaginal dryness after menopause can cause minor damage. Also, listen to your body's signals. Every woman has her own pace, sensitivity, and desires. There is no right or wrong way, only your own way. The truth is probably something no one has ever told you. Desire is muscle. If you don't use it, you lose strength. With training, you can continue to live regardless of age, at 30, 60, or 80 years old. Many women who regain conscious confidence for the first time after passing 60 speak of unexpected clarity. They say, "Suddenly I can sleep again without medication, and I finally feel less fear." This occurs because during the stage of pleasure, the body activates certain chain reactions in the brain. The parts involved in stress are blocked, while the parts involved in calmness and trust become more active. What can be said is that your brain is receiving a shower of neurotransmitter blessings. Otherwise, they would hardly be released with such intensity. However, many people deny this possibility and believe it is already inappropriate. According to research, regular masturbation, even as you age, can reduce the risk of depression, promote brain circulation, and even enhance memory. Think of your mind as a garden. If you don't water the plants, they will wither. But if you water them regularly, they can bloom again and again. Excitement is nothing more than a watering system for your inner balance. One more thing that almost no one talks about. Masturbation also strengthens the pelvic floor muscles. Every time you reach orgasm, these muscles contract rhythmically. This is a form of free exercise that can prevent incontinence. Many of my patients are surprised to find that issues with coughing or laughing disappear after a few months. At the same time, do not underestimate the emotional aspect. Especially after the age of 60, when many women face loneliness, conscious attention to their bodies can serve as a source of support. They feel alive and regain control over something that belongs only to them. This inner strength influences all aspects, from conversations with grandchildren to greater calmness in daily life. Masturbation is not a sin of youth, that is the truth. It is a tool to maintain dignity, health, and joy into advanced age. Many women over 60 realize suddenly during their practice, after a period of shame and repression, their bodies still respond, and much more strongly than they thought. However, confusion then begins. They ask, is this normal? Can it harm me? The truth is, your body is sending clear signals. It is a sign of life. Circulation increases, the brain produces dopamine and oxytocin, and this mixture acts as an inner source of youth. From a scientific perspective, it is astonishing. According to research, just a few minutes of feeling a sense of self-satisfaction activate the same parts of the brain as meditation. This results in reduced fear, a calmer heartbeat, and lowered blood pressure. Women who regularly practice self-satisfaction experience fewer issues with insomnia, headaches, and irritability. Their nervous systems transition to a relaxed state more quickly, which is especially important for the elderly. But it's not just about the brain and organs. The skin also benefits. With each orgasm, blood flow through the finest blood vessels increases, meaning more oxygen, more nutrients, and a radiant face. Some of my patients jokingly say, "This is my exercise without cream to prevent wrinkles." Of course, one obstacle remains. It is the inner voice that has been saying for decades, "That way won't work." However, that voice prevents many women from using the simplest and healthiest methods to improve their mood. Those who overcome it often gain new confidence. It's like opening a window that has been closed for a long time and suddenly breathing in fresh air. The truth is this: masturbation is not merely a permitted act, but a gift to oneself that increases in value with age. When talking about the truth of masturbation after age 60, it is not just a distraction, but a genuine ritual for health. Many of my patients realize this late, but in that way, their bodies release tension and usually prevent the progression of illness without even noticing. After achieving an orgasm, levels of stress hormones like cortisol significantly decrease. This means less inflammation in the body, reduced strain on the heart and blood vessels, and a higher likelihood of a peaceful sleep throughout the night. Things that are often overlooked. They also benefit the pelvic floor muscles. All contractions during orgasm are small movements that can prevent urinary issues. Women who regularly incorporate masturbation into their lives say it makes them feel more confident. This includes laughing, climbing stairs, and playing sports. It's like an invisible gym that is always with you. And there is also the soul. Many women who feel lonely say that after some time, they can feel intimacy again thanks to self-help. This is not a substitute, but a return to their own body. It is something they have dedicated themselves to for a long time: children, partners, and family. Now, they can finally reclaim that attention. I remember a 68-year-old patient telling me, "I used to think it was for young people. Now I understand. It helps me stay young." The smile she showed while saying this was a sign that she had reconciled with her body. And that message gives courage to many women. They can enjoy what their bodies bring without shame. Self-love is no longer a taboo. It is medicine, self-care, and love for oneself. And this truth finally deserves to be spoken aloud. Many women over 60 tell me they want to try it, but guilt and old beliefs hold them back. They were raised in a generation that rarely talked openly about sexuality. Some are afraid that masturbation is unfeminine or sinful. However, from a medical perspective, the opposite is true. It benefits the body in many ways. Blood circulation around the pelvis improves, the nervous system receives positive effects, and the release of endorphins acts as an internal painkiller. Joint pain that may trouble you can also be significantly reduced. What particularly stands out is oxytocin, commonly known as the hug hormone. People who know about this hormone are only aware of it during the postpartum period or intimate moments with a partner. However, it can also be activated simply by touch alone. This brings about a deep inner peace, strengthens the cardiovascular system, and contributes to increased trust. Most importantly, it fosters self-trust. One of my patients, a 72-year-old woman, told me that she was finally able to sleep regularly thanks to her consistent masturbation. She no longer has to lie awake for long hours. Tea and medication were ineffective, but she demonstrated that her own body is the simplest treatment. Such stories indicate that it's not just about pleasure, but also about the actual quality of life. At the same time, honesty is essential. Excessive pressure and mechanical hardness can cause minor injuries to sensitive aging skin. Therefore, the use of waterproof lubricants and gentle oils that reduce friction is recommended. This way, the experience will be comfortable and safe. This is a matter of balance. Your body is not a taboo, but lightness. With that respect, you will not only bring joy to yourself, but also health and peace. Many women ask me, isn't it too late to start at my age? The answer is clear. No, it is not too late. Even if you start at 60 or 70, your body will soon feel the benefits. In fact, tissues in intimate areas have high adaptability. Regular blood circulation and stimulation contribute to elasticity, prevent dryness, and can even reduce the number of urinary tract infections because bacteria find it harder to thrive. Your brain also responds to it. Neurotransmitters like dopamine trigger feelings of pleasure and motivation, while serotonin enhances your sense of balance. This creates a true cycle. Feeling good and wanting to move leads to more active communication and taking your health more seriously. In this way, small acts of self-care influence not only your bedroom, but all aspects of your life. Of course, there are psychological aspects as well. Some women say that after years of patience, they couldn't enjoy the experience until they first overcame their embarrassment. However, once they overcame that barrier, they felt a new sense of freedom. They mentioned that they became less irritable, able to think more clearly, and handle conflicts with family and friends more calmly. A patient once said, "It's like finding the key to opening a door to myself." That word still resonates with me today, because it shows that even after turning 60, sexual desire is not only healthy, but also an act of self-love. It's okay to be kind to yourself, without guilt, taboo, or fear. Remember, your body is a lifelong companion. Caring for it with love will bring more vitality, less discomfort, and deep inner peace. Many women over 60 wonder whether their self-love is appropriate for their age. However, in reality, your body continues to respond to touch. Even after menopause, the ability to experience joy and satisfaction remains, though it is often hidden beneath taboos and old beliefs. Small gestures of caring for oneself serve as signals to the brain, saying, "I am alive, I deserve joy." These signals not only boost confidence, but also strengthen physical vitality. Self-stimulation is more than an intimate act. It promotes blood flow in the pelvic floor and is a cardiovascular training that prevents incontinence. At the same time, it also contributes to blood circulation in the brain. According to studies, women who maintain sexual activity in old age have recorded improvements in memory, reduced sleep problems, and increased stress resilience. Even ants know many people are afraid of doing something wrong. Some rely on methods that are not suitable for their bodies and risk injury. Additionally, shy individuals may not seek medical help even when symptoms appear. That is why education is so important. Your body has changed: skin, mucous membranes, hormones. However, with patience, water-based lubricants, and light exercise, all women can find a safe and satisfying path. I remember what a 72-year-old patient whispered. I thought it was no longer relevant to me. However, when she made up her mind, she discovered a new sense of youth. The smile she had when talking about it was worth 1,000 words. Inside her, there was a message for everyone. Intimate self-care is not a luxury, but a right, and the key to dignity and joy, regardless of age. Honestly, all women over 60 carry an invisible backpack filled with voices from the past. Phrases like, "A polite woman wouldn't do that," or "It's the end at that age." These inner messages are very powerful, but do not align with reality. From a medical perspective, women do not need to suppress intimacy, desires, or self-connection. Contrary to that, people who love themselves strengthen their immune system, lower high blood pressure, and even improve bone density. Yes, I heard it well. Hormones released during orgasm also affect the deep cells of the bones. The impact on the mind is also astonishing. Oxytocin, also called the hug hormone, is released during all sexual activities. It acts like a calming agent from within, reducing anxiety and increasing trust, not only towards others, but also towards oneself. Many women say that after self-love, they feel more calm, less lonely, and more at peace with their bodies. There are also traps. One woman overexerts herself and constantly stimulates her nerves. Another woman uses irritating soaps containing alcohol and mucus-drying agents that can cause infections. The third confuses narcissism with pressure for results and thinks, "This should work." But the truth is, there is no must to do anything. Only curious discoveries that match your own rhythm exist. The 68-year-old woman told me that she felt guilty every time she touched something. When she understood that caring for herself and guilt are not related, she was finally able to take a deep breath freely. According to her words, that freedom brought more energy to her daily life and even gave her the courage to build new relationships. I want to share this with you. Understand how much power self-awareness holds. The one truth that remains at the end of all these stories, numbers, and medical facts. Self-love after the age of 60 is neither a taboo nor secondary. It is a direct expression of vitality. All interactions and conscious rest send signals to the body that say, "I'm still here, I matter." During this time when many women battle changes, such as dry skin, hot flashes, and muscle weakness, touching oneself becomes a source of comfort and healing. It functions like a bridge between the body and soul, repeatedly reminding us that intimacy does not end with youth. Of course, it's not just a matter of desire, it's also a matter of dignity. When women regain the ability to bring joy to themselves again, they gain a sense of autonomy that may have been taken away by illness, loneliness, or social expectations. I have seen patients whose entire self-awareness was renewed by this decision, not just their sexual aspect. They stand taller, laugh more, and become braver in their daily lives. Ali, the most important message is as follows. You are not alone. Hundreds of thousands of women your age are asking the same questions, facing the same anxieties, and discovering new aspects of themselves. The difference is whether you are ready to take the first step, to listen to your voice, accept your body, and give yourself what you need. So, let go of the old feelings of shame. Your body belongs to you, and in every decade of life, it deserves love, touch, and respect. If you consciously start to allow that, not only will your health be strengthened, but your heart will also open. And someday, like many of my patients, you might say, "This is not the end, but a new beginning."